Ways to have that.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hi, guys.
Welcome to another edition of Purposed for
And
Forever.
we're back. Like we never left.
All right. So we appreciate you guys rocking with us. This is your opportunity to share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. We appreciate you guys being here. All my replay peoples, thank you for being here as well. Yeah.
That look kind of.
Yeah. All right. So make sure this is your opportunity to share. Make sure you share, tag, let somebody know that the that Purposeful Forever is in the building.
With the walkers.
So let's see. Hold on. Un momento, por favor.
Oh, don't mess with people language.
And we'll be back in one moment. Like
this. Together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Ready to go live? Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. That's bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Self. Build credit now. Go to bit.ly/now build credit. bit.ly/now build credit. All right. We're back.
Yes, we are.
All right. So today we're talking about well, I want you to kind of explain how we came up with the topic.
Oh, we're just going to throw the ball. All right. So I've seen on social media quite a lot recently. And even thinking back to the interview that was recently done by an actress and how she was saying her relationship with a specific person failed because there was too many people involved in it. Won't mention names. But so it made me think, I keep seeing this post saying, what is it? I don't even remember the post that, but it's something to the fact of rule number one of a happy relationship is keep people out your business. And I kind of keep trying to figure out, what does that mean? Like, because I'm finding that oftentimes that means that people suffer in silence, or they endure, they just endure things silently. Like they don't talk about it. They don't seek out other people for possible counsel, for possible support. So I kind of wanted to talk about it because I find, especially as of late, that even between us, a lot of times things that we're in the midst of, or that we're going through, or that we're experiencing, other people are experiencing at the very same time, or have previously experienced.
Right.
And a lot of times it's very beneficial to have somebody that has gone through what you're going through, to offer support, sometimes to offer advice, sometimes just to be there.
Right.
Last month was, because it's June.
Yeah.
Is this June?
Yes, it is. No, well, today's the last day.
Okay, so May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Right.
And I feel like some of the issues with our mental health is that we compile everything in our head, from what we go through with our spouses or our boyfriends or our baby daddies, wherever you fall in that line. What we go through with our children, we don't talk about that. What we go through with our siblings, or that our parents or our friends, we compile everything in our heads. And
Mhm.
even if you have a big head, your head can only hold so much.
Right.
Literally, it can
Right.
only hold so much. And I feel like we do ourselves a disservice and put ourselves at a disadvantage because we hold on to everything.
Right.
We don't want to talk to anybody because we've already decided what they're going to say, or we've already decided how they're going to view us.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk to her because she judgmental.
Right.
I don't want to talk to her because she nosy.
Right.
And some of that may very well be true. You know, lots of different kinds of people. And I'm not saying you should just run around sharing all your business or, God forbid, putting it all over Facebook.
Right.
But I am saying I believe that you should have a community. You should find a community, even if it's a community of one.
Right.
You know, you should find another couple.
Yes.
Doesn't matter, older, younger, whatever. You know, there's somebody out there, somebody that you run into or will run into.
Right.
That's a good sounding board, that, you know, is a good fit. I think we have to get out of the habit of feeling like we got to shoulder it all alone.
Right.
You know, you can't talk to anybody. You don't want to talk to anybody. What happens in this house, you know, we talked about that the other night, you know, stays in this house.
Right.
And that applies to even our relationships. And people suffer in silence. People go through things sometimes unnecessarily.
Right.
We put a lot of undue stress on our minds,
Yes.
on our bodies,
Mhm.
on our spirits, because we won't talk about it.
Right. That's it's definitely it's essential because, you know, even us coming back together, you know, one of the things I wanted to do a little different was kind of connect with other couples to have kind of a dialogue with healthy couples. You know, couples that like being around each other, but because a lot of times relationships have struggles because everything is kept in. You know, we're talking very little, and then we're talking very little to other people, because sometimes when you say stuff out loud to someone else and they bounce it back to you, you know, you realize, okay, maybe I was tripping. Maybe I'm having all these head games, you know, head conversations that are not being healthy. They're not healthy because all the sides agree that they agree with me, you know. So it's you talk to someone that says, is it really that serious? You know, is it really worth throwing it all away?
Right.
You know, did he or she really do all that? You know, or this is what you've seen and the rest of it you assumed. You know, so it's
Right.
having those conversations with other people that are in a healthy place, or at least a place where they can help you. So tonight we're talking about not isolating yourself or not isolating your relationship to the point where you're not talking to anybody. You know, of course, it's always, you know, the people that you know you can't share stuff to, because sharing it to them, you might as well just go on Facebook and put it up, because pretty much most of your friend list gonna know your situation. At least
Right.
if you put it on Facebook, you'll know who will know. So, of course, we're talking about just relating to those in your circle, because there's people that you can talk to. It's rare that there's like nobody. You know, you sometimes when you move or you go through a transition, you might lose some people, but you have to open yourself up to getting friends, to start connecting with others. And trust me, I'm coming from a place where I had isolated myself for a lot of my years. a lot. So anybody looking like, well, it's easier said than done. Yeah, I know, because I've been there. But you have to do it. You have to get out of that isolation, because it's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for you. It's better for your growth. It's better for the growth in your relationship. It's better to get to some understanding. You know, like I said, when it's one thing, sometimes they don't even need to give you advice. Just you saying it out loud.
Right.
You're like, man, that don't even make sense. Like, I don't know why I'm tripping about it. You know, when you're actually talking to someone else that's not yourself, it begins to sound differently. So tonight we just want to kind of encourage you to dig into your community. Who are you connected to that you can just have some conversation about, and just talk about, you know, what your relationship going through, something that you may be dealing with, and just kind of seek some advice. Or just like, listen, I just need someone that will listen to me. You know, you don't have to have all the answers. Just listen, because, you know, and I used to think this, and I'm kind of changing a little bit. Like I always say, you know, you should, like, single people can't tell married people anything. But if you have a single friend that's willing to listen, they can at least be a sounding board. You know, they may not know everything because they'll be like, well, my experience is not huge because I've never been married, but I could at least assist you with maybe what's going on in your head. May have had a girlfriend or two because I can maybe assist what's going on in your head. But you know, it's just assessing who's around you. What's your village look like? You know, who can you connect to? Who can you just talk to? And like I said, they may not have all the answers, but they'll at least be a sounding board.
Right. And even when I had a therapist on, she was saying she's a therapist and that's her profession. And she, you know, she counsels and talks to people. But she said she also has a therapist because it's healthy for her as well to have someone that can listen and that she can unload to.
Right.
And it's important in relationship. It's important, you know, the whole, sometimes we take things and we run with it.
Right.
Like the whole, you know, keep people out of your business. Like it sounds good. And there's some things that are private. There are some parts of your life that should always remain private. That should just be between you and your spouse. But there are several areas, you know, where you can share with people. Or even if you don't share, maybe you can just find a group of people or whatever that you can listen to. Maybe you'll learn from example. Maybe you'll learn by watching. You know, sometimes we want, I know as women, you see things maybe on TV or you see things out and you want your husband to do those things. And so you think the things that make sense to get him to do it is you gonna tell him all the time, I want you to do this to me. Why you don't do this like Stacey husband? Oh, John does this for Monique. And we think that's the way to accomplish the goal. And sadly, too many times that is not the proper way to address it. But you never know what getting in a group of other couples or being a part of other couples might produce. You might find out he don't watch John open the door for Stacey so many times that you get ready to go to the car and he run around and he open the door just by simply being around other people. So, you know, sometimes there is a benefit for expanding your circle past you and him. Like I said, I believe there are always some things that should be private. You know, and then even with talking to people, yes, you can't tell people everything. I'm sure we all can name a bad experience we had with trusting the wrong person or trusting one person with too much. If you've been living, you've had that experience. And if you have not, just hold on because it is coming. But I also believe that there are people that you can trust. You know, I can say for me, there's some people in my life that I can call and I can tell them anything. And I'm perfectly comfortable with that. Like, but that has been a tested and tried relationship that took years to build. You know, trust takes time to build. And then there are some people that, you know, he may get on my nerves because he didn't mow the grass and I asked him 3 times. I might can tell her, you know, I'm tired of him not mowing the grass. You know, and that's the basis of our relationship. Other couples, and she'll say, you know what? I had to tell my husband to mow the grass all the time too. You have the conversation, you realize that, oh my God, what he's doing is not that egregious. You know, and you learn how to move on. Because she'll say, you know what I do? I just set a reminder, or I'll go out and look, or you find little tips that you never thought of yourself that you can get from other couples. But like he said, the important part is not to isolate yourself. We have to get out of the mentality of, you know, us 4 and no more. Just whatever's going on in our house is just in our house. We don't care, you know, what's going on out there. We don't care about, you know, this, that, and the other. You know, we have several different platforms between the two of us. And the thing we try to talk about across the board is community. You know, and building our community. And I believe that it starts, you know, in your home. It starts in your relationship. It starts with your children, it starts with your spouse. Like if we can practice some of these things in our homes, building relationship, building community, you connect to one person, that one person connect to somebody else. It's like we teach each other as we go.
Definitely.
And I think it may be a long process, and it may be a long while before you see the actual benefits of it.
Right.
But I believe that we as a community, and I mean we as a community, people that look like us,
Right.
We can get further and do more together. But
Yeah.
we got to get out of this. Oh, it's my business,
Right.
and you mind your business,
Right.
and you don't talk to my kids, and
Right.
you don't look. We have to get past that. Like we come from generations of people that literally shared everything with each other. There were times when if one house had chicken, the whole block
Yeah. Definitely.
had chicken. It
Right.
was times if one husband was handy, he fixed stuff on the whole block.
Right.
Because we were a community.
Right.
And so we want to encourage people to try to get back to that. And there's so many ways to make that happen. But I think definitely sharing our struggles, our victories, that is a definite way to build community. And like I said, between our different platforms, that has been our message for the last year: how to build community, how to build your circle, how to expand your reach past your household.
Right. Would you say when it comes to sharing, like I said, you're being careful with what you share, and how you share, because we've talked about before, like sometimes sharing with family a lot, remember like some things that your spouse may have done, your family may not forgive, but of course you forgive and kind of move on. Would you be careful with sharing those kind of things, or like he yelled or he cussed at me, like he had a moment, nothing that's like habitual, but he had a moment.
I think you have to be aware of the people. Now, of course, again, you're always going to have that anomaly.
Right.
There's going to be somebody you thought you could trust, and you tell them something,
Right.
and they run with it.
Right.
I mean, to be honest, people are human, and you try to use those things as teachable moments. What did he say?
So Tawan said,
We
we all know someone who unpacked some things within their relationship that eventually got out.
Right.
You have to know who you can trust. Once your trust is broken, it can make you keep everything inside. Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
But, like I always believe that if I have a bad experience with a woman, right? That's because, okay, I'll use myself. Like I used to always say, I don't really get along with girls because they so messy. Like growing up, I probably had way more male friends than I had female friends. And I had conditioned myself to believe that women were messy or that I couldn't trust them. So I isolated myself. I put myself in a bubble.
Right.
So, even women that I met that might have been nice, it took me years to get to a point to where I could benefit from the relationship.
Right.
So I feel like it's almost like you let one bad apple spoil a bunch.
Right.
Like you can't let one encounter ruin the whole process.
Right.
So I definitely agree with you. We have to be, trust takes time to build.
Right.
And sometimes we've trusted the wrong people.
Right.
Sometimes we've put too much trust into people. And then I also feel like sometimes our expectations weren't clear.
Wow.
Okay. Like I think sometimes people don't really understand what you expect out of them. Like if I'm somebody, let's just say I'm somebody, I talk a lot. Like we all know people that just be talking. So sometimes when you tell them something, they may inadvertently just be talking. Right. They don't mean it as a way to spread your business, but they just talk so much. Like that they just talking and they don't realize like I've given all of your information out. So I think sometimes you have to be clear on your expectations with people in terms of the information you share.
Janetta says there's a difference between sharing and learning with other couples versus bashing your spouse to someone who then has a difficult time forgiving them after you've moved on. That's good.
Absolutely.
Right.
I totally agree with that.
That's good.
But it all ties together with knowing your circle.
Right.
Like, we've established, I was even telling him earlier, like we've established a pretty good circle,
Right.
Which has it has been a learning process for
Right.
both of us. Because like I said, for a long time,
It's just been
anybody that's known me prior to the last 5 years would tell you I've never really had a plethora of female friends.
Right.
I've never really had, been around a lot of females to where like I'll talk to them and share with them. Never.
Right.
I mean, past my sisters, like that was it. And I could say like within the last year, we've built and continuously working,
Right.
on a relationship with other couples.
Right.
And it has not, it's luckily and amazingly and thanking God, we haven't had any issues
Right.
where I've had to be like, "Ooh, I can't trust her." Right.
It's a child and girl.
We haven't had those experiences. I mean, we even went away
Right.
with some couples.
Yeah, that was the first
for a
trip.
weekend. And a lot of people were there were like, yeah, this is a first that we've ever did this.
Yeah, and I thought,
And
I thought it was just us.
Right. Like it wasn't awkward.
Right.
Amazingly, it
Right.
seemed very natural.
Yeah.
We were all pretty like-minded.
Right.
There wasn't any disrespect.
Right.
Me and one of the guys did disagree on, one of his icons. But outside of that, like it was really a great time.
Yeah.
So much, that even at the end, we're like, we got to do this again.
Yes.
And even in that moment, I kind of felt like, wow,
Yeah.
I didn't know that this was something
Right.
that I missed out on. It's like, we're missing out on some of the benefits of being connected to other people. It can be scary because even sometimes when I reach out to people, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this anyway,
Right.
And I do it. But there are benefits. There's always going to be those downsides. There's always going to be people, some people just don't know any better sometimes.
Right.
Some people have been messy their whole lives,
Right.
and they don't know any better.
Right.
That's just a part of who they are. But you have to kind of, just slide around those people. Consider it a lesson learned. Like, when you burn your hand on the stove, you don't say, I'm never going to cook again.
Right.
Or I'm never going to eat again. You just figure out how to maneuver and
Right.
use the stove, to accomplish your goal. And I think it's the same thing with relationships.
I think
When
it's,
you're burned by a person,
yeah.
you don't just say, oh, forget all the people.
I think it's. I think it's rough though. Like once you're burned, like it's hard, like to just open back up. Even if I'm in I'm not even dealing with that particular person. I got a whole different circle. It's that fear of being burned. Like, okay, so it's like when you either the first time you cook grits or you cooking bacon or something. I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
and you get popped. You're like, oh, like I want some more bacon, but
And you cook it.
well, how do I not get popped?
Right.
from
You
this bacon?
figure out
But
how
then
to
if
make
that
the
burn
bacon.
is bad, you just like, man,
Right,
I
but you
don't
don't
know
stop
if
eating bacon.
I don't know if I want bacon. I don't know if I
No.
want.
That is not the same. I feel like you have to, you figure it out.
Right,
Like, if even next time it might take you a little longer
right.
to
cook it.
get to the position where you can share.
Right,
Like
right.
maybe I'll share today, like, oh, today wasn't a good day for us.
Right, right.
And leave it at that.
Right.
And then,
Just kinda
when you
sit.
don't hear, oh, girl, they having problems,
Right.
then you, okay.
Right.
And then next time you share a little more, I think you could be a little cautious.
Right.
If you want to use that word, a little cautious going in. But I mean, if you're so worried about being burned again, then you should just stay in a relationship with the same person that burned you. You might as well keep being friends with them and just keep sharing. Because, if in your mind, you've made up in your mind that everybody's going to burn you.
Right.
So then just keep talking to the person. Like, we stop talking to that person because we don't want to be burned.
Right.
But then, I don't
stop
know, it's
talking to
kind of like
everybody.
you cut off your nose to spite your face.
I mean, I get it. I mean, it doesn't make sense. I think it just makes building other relationships challenging.
Right,
or difficult.
absolutely. But time, like,
Right.
trust takes time.
Yeah.
Like, I sometimes I feel like we're so impatient. We want things to happen right away. I think we have to be selective and patient.
But do you feel like for the most part, like someone says, with trust, trust is like the one backwards thing, where for the most part, we give it all to you until you show that you're not deserving of it.
Well, I don't know who we is because I don't do that.
You don't give it the trust. You don't trust anybody. Like, I'm
Just
give you the benefit of the doubt.
I trust you to. Okay, so if I meet you, right, and depending on however I'm meeting you, let's just say I meet you at work. I trust you to be a coworker. Like, I trust you to come to work when you're supposed to be here, and I trust you to do your job. Right. Like, that's it. I take it on face value. I trust you to be who you are in that moment. Now, for me to get to a point where I come in on a Monday and thank you. Trust has to be earned. For me to come in on a Monday and give you my whole weekend, there's a process to that. Like, I'm not just gonna come in and share everything with you. That's not my theory.
I know, but I've seen like a lot of people come in will share their whole life story. They'll show like colonoscopy and the results.
But those are the same people that I wouldn't tell my business to. Because, like I said, those people like to talk.
They like to talk.
So
they
if
share everything.
If you have no problem sharing the inside functions of your body, you have no problem sharing all of my business.
Sharing the results.
So with tests. You, I trust you too. I trust you to be the extra talkative person you are.
So you wouldn't share?
No, you already know the answer to that. No, I don't believe that you just. I mean that with age comes wisdom, and wisdom would tell you don't just share things that are intimate with you with anybody. Right. Like I feel like like Taiwan said, trust has to be earned. Like you build relationship. There's no add Sam and mix. No, this is something that honestly has to be worked on and nurtured. Nothing just grows. You have to nurture it. You have to water it.
Right. She said, Taiwan says, Sam is right. If you're forthcoming with your own business, you're going to put mine on the
end. Absolutely. But I mean, like I said, even with that person, yes, I trust you. I trust you to talk too much. Right. So like, I'm not just going to say, oh, well, I'm just going to trust you. Why? Like nothing you've done or said has proven.
But they trust you for all the information.
No, but they trust anybody. But think about that person. Can you really tell their business? No, because they've told it to everybody that they see. Like I was working at this place. Yeah. I was training. So like day 2 in, the lady came in and she started telling me her whole life story. And even started crying. This is during training.
Right.
Like, okay, so of course, then a couple of months in, she couldn't understand that when she asked me questions, she only got one or 2 word answers.
Right.
Ma'am, I know everything that's happened in your life. Like, I trust you to be who you are. The person that talks too much. I'm sorry. I don't see, to me, that would be a lack of wisdom to just share your intimate details with people just because. That's not smart. For like you're setting yourself up for failure.
Gotcha.
And then your husband don't want to go nowhere with you. Then you wonder why, like if your spouse know you talk too much, and then they know things haven't been good between y'all, they are not going with you to functions. They're not going to your mom and them house. They're not going to granny's cookout. They don't want to go to your work function because they know you have told everybody
everything,
and they don't want to be around that. That's just my take. I don't.
Just a real quick reset. You're watching Purpose for Forever. Make sure you stay connected to us and know all of the time that broadcasts and things that we have. We have games and everything happening. Go text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Hold on, we'll get that in 1 second.
What are we doing?
We'll be right back right after this.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Ready to go live?
go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. That's bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Self. Build credit now. Go to bit.ly/now build credit. bit.ly/now build credit.
But you gotta.
All right. Welcome back.
You got emotion or something.
All right. Oh,
Come
Lord.
on, wait, what she say?
Okay. So
It's like the person that testified telling all they wonder why people looking at them. Absolutely. Like you listen,
sharing what the Lord is
I've
doing.
been in church, and then the crazy part is they don't just testify, they testify about the people that called them during the week
Oh, yeah.
and what they told them too. And then you wonder why you walk into a circle and people walk the other way. Because it's too much. Like I feel like you have to, like I said, relationships are required building. You have to nurture them. You have to water them. You have to, right? Like you have to be patient, but you also have to talk about expectations.
Right.
Like I'm quick to tell people, and I do it on purpose.
Right.
Like I would tell people, I don't make a lot of friends. It's hard for me to make friends. Like I tell people stuff like that. Or I tell people, sometimes my words can be a little sharp. It's like, I'm trying to get you prepared for what might follow. I'll tell people stuff like, I don't trust people easy.
Right.
Because that's me. I'm laying out my expectations. I'm letting you know that slowly I'm letting you into the inner sanctum.
Right.
And if you mess up, you'll be kicked off the Samantha planet. Now, you don't just get booted from the inner sanctum. You get kicked off the Samantha planet so much that you are no longer in my orbit. And I know I'm working on it. Just in case my pastor's watching, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I'm trying to do better. But for now.
That's it. And is there ever a comeback? Can I come back in?
I feel like sincerity goes a long way. Like, because we all sometimes do things that we don't mean. Sometimes you could hurt somebody inadvertently. So I do think there's a way to return into orbit.
Okay.
But sincerity, go a long way. Like, I could be cool if somebody was like, well, I was mad at you, so I was mad.
Right.
Like, I can respect that. Okay, you was mad. It makes sense. But I can't respect, like, oh, I didn't know that what happened.
I didn't know everybody going to share about the hemorrhoids on your butt. You told me about the hemorrhoids on your butt.
Really? That was the first thing you could think of to use as an analogy.
Then I shared. I'm just saying, like, that's that's intimate, yet not detrimental. And, I'm just saying.
See, now I feel like I have to say I don't have hemorrhoids. You see how ridiculous this is? See what he is starting, like the most embarrassing thing.
But I'm just saying that's very much so, and people may come to you and say,
okay, let's move past it.
All right, so so
I do apologize. I'm saying I think sincerity matters. I think again, we're adults. Right. That for me, if you can come to me with an adult and have an adult conversation, I'm sure there's ways that we can reconcile. I mean, I have to be honest, it would be a long time depending on what happened to where I could trust you again. And we may never be in that position again, like to where I rely on you. Right. But I think, there are ways of mending fences. But, things take time. I think you have to be willing to put in the work for the relationship. If it's important to you, then you'll work at it. You'll talk it through. You'll be patient. You can't just, I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. I'm sorry too. Like kind of that's my response. I think there are ways to mend fences. There's always, ways to reconcile things. But I think methodology goes a long way. And then if this like your third time doing it, yeah, I mean, we can mend fences to where like I don't hate anybody. Present day, I can say that. Like I think I've only hated like one person in my whole life. honestly. And I know that may sound terrible to people, but like, yeah, just one person in my whole life.
Right.
But like I don't hate anybody, so I think, I think there are ways to move past things. But if it's multiple offenses,
Right.
I mean, the reality is I think I put you in the wrong place in my life.
Right. I got
Like you need to be an associate,
right.
not like a friend. Like I don't need to have you over my house
Right.
because that's too close.
Right. So
Like
you
we
gotta
need
share
to
what you
have
see,
right.
like,
We need to
yeah.
have some distance
Right.
between each other. So let me ask a question because I know people say this all the time. Like, men, why does it seem like men can move past stuff? Like somebody can talk about your mama and you'll be mad, but then
I don't know.
y'all could be cool again. Is that like a man thing?
I think we don't. I don't know. We don't.
Taiwan, I
hold
want you
on.
to answer that.
Yeah.
Help me out.
I-
Why does it seem like men can get? Well, I don't know. Taiwan, can you get past things?
I mean,
Like,
for me, I think it's. I don't hold on to it. I don't. I try not. To, I don't stew over it. I try not to really think about it. Most things I can pretty much let go. I don't let it. I don't let it eat me up. Like so, if you talk about my mom about 10 years from now, I may not think about it.
but I don't mean like 10 years.
No, I'm just saying, like, we hash it out, we argue it out, we may fight it out,
Right, but then y'all go back.
We cool. We got it
Yeah,
out. We got the aggression out. We got. I said what I was gonna say. I punched you in the face. I feel better. I'm just. I mean, it all started when we kids. Most of the with kids as boys and kids. Most of the friends we developed were from fights. We got into a fight about something dumb, and we became friends. It's just kind of like the nature.
I need a man, Shanetta, ask Elder to help me out here. I really need to know what it is that seems like men can just mend fences.
Brothers, let me
a
know.
lot easier.
I think that's
than women. And I don't like for me. If you get me to the point where I'm going to fight you and physically hit you, there's no friendship after that.
Yeah.
Like, what is there to be? What
I think.
What do we have in common?
Our fight meter is not as high.
See your fight meter? What does that mean?
Like, yeah, he said our makeup is different, right? But
that's what that means.
like we don't. But by the time I'm gonna punch Taiwan in the stomach and push him down and want to smack him or something, it's about halfway. Like, you said what? And we go at it. We'll fight about it. And 9 times out of 10, he'd be like, my bad. But we kind of get over it. We get over it. I think the only thing that we probably struggle is like you stealing from us. Like when a man steals from you, it's hard to we don't trust you no more. Like you just took, whatever, like money, possession, just stealing. Like talking about, it's just words. It's just words. He said we were receivers, we hold things, men get it out. Yeah, for the most, I mean,
okay.
and there are some things that we hold, because I won't say we 100% let go of everything, but for the most part, we'll let stuff go. We'll let it go. Yeah, like I said, the fight is the way we get it out. Like we'll fight, argue, cuss at each other. For the most part, I know like when women get to the cussing and argue, it's like that's the end of the relationship. For us, that's just like, okay, that's our negotiation. That's our, what do they call it? Arbitrating.
He said it's different, but I didn't like how he said it. But I did like how he said it. Wait, we haven't put up. We gotta put them up.
Okay. He said it's different.
Okay.
And then he said, that
we are receivers, we hold things.
Men get it out, right?
Okay.
He said it's different, but I didn't like how he said it. That's Janetta. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like, okay, so for me, right? Like, once I feel like I can't trust you, like, I'm not the person, like, I'm not angry anymore. Like, I can see you, I'll say hi, or, if you speak, I'll speak.
Right.
But I don't think about you.
And
like, I mean, there's no, like, animosity. I realize who you are, and then I realize who you are doesn't work with who I am.
Yeah.
So I just move around you. Like there's no.
I mean, and I think for us sometimes, it's that category of, was this a moment of stupidity or is this just who you are? Because we don't put everybody into who you are. Like,
but who you are is what you've shown me. I can't figure out who you are. If all you ever show me is that you lie,
Right.
guess what? You a liar.
A
Like-
professional liar.
You're right. You a professional liar. Like, I can't pretend that you might tell me the truth because
But you know what's funny?
all
though?
you've
Okay,
ever done is lie.
so it's okay. So sometimes with men, we have like relationships that are a utility, right? So
Okay.
we not need you, but you work well in a certain space.
Right.
But you know, like we'll hang out, and then Taiwan start talking. I'm like, this nigga's a lie anyway. You know,
Right.
he lies, but he's great at whatever it is
See?
that we work together at.
You're right. That's how
You
women
know,
are different
We
because
sexualize like this
I
dude is
can't.
awesome at whatever it is we into, or he good with the free throw. We can play ball, but yeah, don't listen to his story.
I mean,
This
maybe
dude lies.
something as trivial as like
Right.
playing ball or something like that I might can do, but to me, if I figured out somehow that you just lie all the time, I'm good. Like, I don't care if you can bake the best cakes, because in my mind, listen, in my mind, I'm assuming that you ain't really baking the cakes anyway, because
You
you a
lied, man.
liar. So you got
Well,
somebody else
well, we
baking
got
the
it.
cakes for you, and now you giving the cakes to me. I know it might be a petty thought, but that's just me. Like, I don't think that you could be that useful that I could overlook who you are.
Right.
To me, like, that's just wrong.
Right.
Like, I feel like you're a liar. I don't trust you. I don't really want to be around you. But because you can bake, girl, bake me a cake. No, thank you.
I mean, and
That cake might make me start lying too. Don't make me one of your lie cakes.
that's it. We
connect
connect one thing to
one
another. Men, yeah, box things up.
Right.
We're spaghetti, and then it's a
Right.
book.
Shanetta, absolutely. All them noodles
Right.
is entangled because
Right.
I feel like some women there, you lying, you a gossip,
Right.
you a home wrecker. Like, I'm stringing it all together. That's a
Listen,
good analogy.
right. He
She
said,
said,
not a lie.
like it. Hey,
Listen,
I'm
'cause
just
I think we cause that that's probably the best way to put it. Because I think my even church, like you know who your players are, you know what they deal with, you know what they do.
don't talk about church.
I'm just-
Pastor might watch this. I don't want to
Listen,
be
That's been a
in
church
trouble.
grab with you, but I'm saying you know who people are, and
right.
people are, and we pray that they're working on that line, but
I don't
I'm
care
like,
if you're working
don't-
on it.
don't
Lie over there.
don't share nothing with that brother. Just keep that, you know.
Right,
you have
but
your
then
circles
that's the same dude you'll call to help you do something.
because the dude is nice.
I'm not calling
He's good at it.
lying Lily for
Listen,
nothing. Because
McNair
I
is
feel
nice
like
on the organ. Just don't talk to him long. He's nice. We utility. I'm about to make a word up. Utilize.
utilize.
No, utilize. That's the word.
Stop.
So I'm just saying, is that a utility? You know, now you become, you're good at what you do, and I'm not going to throw you away because you're great at what you do. We just compartmentalize, like the three phase. You know, the confidant, the comrade. Yeah, we put you on the outskirts. Hey, appreciate you, brother. All right, see you later. Close the door, and then we have our personal conversation.
So recently, I used somebody for something.
Right.
What they were supposed to do, they did it or
Right.
whatever.
A resource.
I can't. But they were janky through the process.
Right.
So for me, that was our last experience working together.
Right.
Because you janky.
Right.
And I can't, even though you did your part well,
Right.
because the person delivered, but you so janky that I can't. And here's my thing about a resource. Like if for me, if I consider you a resource, that means now if Shanetta calls me and she needs somebody that does what you do, I need to be able to say to Shanetta, oh, call this person and they'll do what you need. That's
Okay.
what I need.
Right.
But if you janky, how do I?
All right. So flip the script. So boom. So I have the same, and because it was a young lady you was dealing with. So make that young lady a man, and I dealt with him.
What?
He's janky. But he get the job done. Elder McNair comes to me and say, "Hey, I need to do whatever, such and such and such." I'm like, "Yo, I got a pretty decent deal. He a little janky, but he'll get the job done.
Yeah, but
so that means you go in with your eyes wide open.
People,
just tell me they're a little janky. She got this part for you, right?
Yeah, but okay. So another experience I had recently, I referred somebody to do something for somebody else.
Right.
That person had a horrible experience with the person I referred.
Right.
Like I felt so terrible. I don't want that kind of pressure. Right. For you to be a resource for me, I need to be confident in recommending you to somebody else.
Right.
Like I don't know. That's like saying, "Oh, you can swim in my pool. It's a couple of sharks in there, but just jump in there anyway."
So no. So what like with that situation, it's like McNair calls me again, like, "Yo, I need such and such done." I'm like, "Who's this for? This for you or like a big company or something?" Because then big companies don't want to deal with janky. I'm like, it's for you. This person's good. You just they might have to deal with a little jankiness. Like lately they've been a little janky, but they get the job done. Because sometimes quality is hard to find to the point that you just like, okay, I got my janky folk that it'd be for me and somebody personally referring to me. And then sometimes if it's personally, then I was like, I'll step in and deal with the janky part.
See, that's too much work. I don't know. Like,
but they're resources.
I guess
good stuff is hard to find.
Right, but that's still not good stuff.
I know, but until I find
well, I guess, listen, this is one of those things where they say, well, women are from Venus and men are from Mars or whatever. Because for me, I'm sorry, I'm just not. For me to recommend you to somebody, I need to be confident that
you're going to get the job done.
Without the janky.
But it's going to be a little janky. You're going to have to chase them down a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not.
I mean, about the only people I probably wouldn't, I mean, if, like I said, changing it is like a money thing. Like, so McNair is the resource, and he my boy, and we close. And someone is the janky one that has a hard time paying. Like I might tell me,
but there's all money involved.
But
like
no,
I'm referring people that you're paying.
I know, for a service,
right?
But to me, like not getting paid is now a bill's not getting paid. But I'm just.
But if I pay you and you not delivering,
there's some jankiness to it. You just have to navigate through. But if McNair's got to get paid, I'm like, listen, they pay, they just slow with it. So if you got the patience, you'll make some good money with it. You just don't cash the check when they tell you to cash the check. Don't cash it before. Don't cash it after.
This is definitely one of the differences between
when they tell you to cash.
I'll say between the two of us. I don't know if this applies to males and females across the board because we ain't done no real research. But I will say for me, who you show me that you are, that's it. That's who you are. Can my perception of you change?
Right.
Absolutely. When
that check,
when you show me different behavior, my perception changes when your behavior changes. But if your behavior is consistently, like I said, if you're consistently a liar, my mom used to say, you'll lie when the truth sound better.
Right.
So if you lie when the truth sound better, that you're just a liar to me. I'm not gonna ask you nothing because I'm convinced you're lying. Right. If I ask you if it's raining and you say no, I'm grabbing my umbrella. Because in my mind, you're a liar. So like that person that's who you are. Until I see a consistent track record of you being honest, to me, you're just a liar.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's like for me, some stuff is just black and white. It's either yay or nay. I all of the gray area, I struggle sometimes with gray area. And it can be a fault sometimes because I'm just gray, either good or bad. There's no you all right.
You're good in this spot. You're just not good in this spot.
Yeah, that warm water. I don't like warm water. I like my water to be either hot or cold. I don't like warm water. I don't like room temperature water.
Go see him on Wednesday. You don't want to go see him on Thursday.
See, this too much. Even the water I drink, I don't like room temperature water.
Right.
That in the middle, no. My water either needs to be hot, or it needs to be cold. I can't do in the middle. But again, this is just me. Like, so, with me, you're gonna get one or the other. Either I'm way over the top, or I'm I'm way over the top
Did
most
he
of
say
the time.
4 to 6 weeks, or did he say 46 weeks? We don't know. All right.
See, relationships aren't supposed to be that complicated when I'm trying to figure out the fine line to walk to be connected to you.
It's like
That's why people shy away from it. This is why people don't want to connect, because they feel like they gotta walk through landmines. Okay, well, if I call you when you and your husband like each other,
right,
you give good advice. If I call you and you tell me, girl, divorce him, leave him, he no good, that means you and Robert arguing. I don't no.
Well, that's a little different. No, because like I said, you was talking about resource, relationship with like business wise or connection wise. There's resources, and then there's good relationships with that. But then in a relationship, yes, I need to be able to trust you. I need you to be a decent person.
Right.
I mean, I guess like if you're the liar, if you're the liar, you just always, then we might hang, but we always gonna just call you names.
If you lie, you steal. If you steal,
you'll kill.
You'll kill. What was it? If you lie, you'll cheat. If you cheat, you'll steal. If you steal, you'll kill. See how all that work together? You started lying and now you're trying to kill me. It's too much. I'm just saying. Listen, blame my mama. Don't blame me. She used to tell me that. She used to connect it all. See, that's how women work.
All right, so we appreciate you guys rocking with us.
I'm just saying.
And hanging with us. Make sure you join our text our community.
Don't cut me off like that. That's rude.
LW into 84576. Text LW into 84576. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Brothers of Legacy and ladies and
yes, Sisters of Legacy tomorrow, 8:30. We're gonna be talking about. Have to tune in to find out.
Don't do that. Don't do that to my people. All right, guys. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. Be safe. Know that we love you, but God loves you more. Yep.
That is not our evening. That's not our ending.
I know. Love intentionally.
Love unconditionally.
And love on purpose.
This ain't Brothers of
Me
Legacy.
and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Ready to go live? Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. That's bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Self. Build credit now. Go to bit.ly/now build credit. bit.ly/now